are meant to work with. So would love to know who's here. If you're watching live, let me know where you're coming from, where you're viewing this from. I know this is international and we're all over the world now. And if you're watching this on a replay, hashtag replay, so I know you're here. So we're talking about how to attract premium clients that you're meant to work with. So first of all, let's look at what that means, meant to work with. What I work with is energy, and energetically everything is interconnected, and we make contracts with people before we come into this reality. So I know from the business standpoint that sounds like what, but actually energetically, when you come in here, you already contracted with some people. You already have some human beings that essentially said, I need what she's going to be offering. Whatever it is that you are bringing through as your expertise, there are already people who have contracted with you without ever knowing you before you incarnated into this lifetime, that need exactly what you are bringing. There is already an energy alignment that has occurred before you even shown up. So when we talk about premium clients that you meant to work with, we're talking about people like that. The ones who have contracted with you from before, the ones who are frequency-wise looking for what you're offering, and premium not just because of price, like we're not talking about just premium as in paying more, but premium as in deeper, more intricate, more complete, a higher level of service that you as an expert are bringing, and also the higher level of work that the client is choosing to do in order to fully incorporate and integrate and apply everything that you are going to bring to your client. So that's a premium client that you're meant to work with. So I know that you want to change consciousness on this planet. Like, it's important that what we're doing is not just because we want to get paid, which of course we do, right? Because it's business, but we want to change consciousness. We actually want to upgrade the human collective to the next level. That is important. I know that you want to impact lives on a larger scale and attract to you those premium clients that you meant to work with. So more of those clients, right? And also more credibility and more cash. But do all of that without losing your sanity, which nowadays is kind of a challenging component, right? Because there's so much going on. There's so much information popping in a, social media and just in a world in general, everywhere, all the time. So it's really a key to stand out in whatever it is that is your uniqueness, whatever it is that is your message. But as I said, the good news is that if you fully do that, you already have people who have contracted to work with you. There are already people looking for you. So it's the sort of a matter of how you show up. So you probably already have some sort of a business strategy. I hope so, because without that, you can't really run a business. I know some people kind of fall into it, but if you're a coach or a healer or a holistic health professional, you're somebody who's here to actually impact consciousness, you need to have a business strategy. You also need to have a marketing strategy and a visibility strategy and other strategies as to how you're going to show up. And there is a misconception here about strategy that a lot of times what I see, and a lot of my clients that come to me at the beginning, this is kind of the stage they're at, is somebody told you that, all right, this is the thing that's going to work. Do this and you will get clients. And then you do the thing and then you kind of confuse how come it didn't work. Like, it worked for everybody else, but not really for me. Or maybe it worked for a while and then it stopped working. That's because it's a cookie cutter strategy. It's sort of a way that you originally maybe didn't know how to do it. Somebody figured out, you took that way on, and now you're using it as if it's yours, and it might not feel quite well. So that strategy component, I'm sure you have some strategy, but you might notice if it doesn't quite fit you, there's something off there in the type of strategy you're using. Another thing is that you might have figured out by now is that if you show up as relaxed, as confident, as powerful, more things happen. You still have to show up. You can be relaxed and just meditate and hope for the best. So I'm saying that still action is required, but there is a way how even though you're confident, maybe a couple of years ago when you started or some years ago you weren't confident about what you're doing, but now you are. Now you know that, hey, what I'm doing works. You know, it gets results and I'm good at what I do. Like, you build that confidence. You kind of own it now. But then when something doesn't quite work with clients, it creates a wobble. You know, your whole field energetically actually kind of does this. It's like the energy is not stable in alignment. So that wobble is also how we miscreate. One of the most common ways when that happens is when somebody is creating interaction with their clients. Everything is working. You're attracting people into your world. It's all awesome. You're flying high. You're helping your clients. And then suddenly nothing happens. It's like a lull. It's a zone where nothing's going on. And you start to get nervous, like, uh-oh, what's going on? What did I do? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to fix it? Do I need to fix this? Is this good? Is this not good? All those worries that we end up with when something is changing and we don't quite know how to handle that. So that's another component, and obviously how you're speaking to your client. So back to what we started from, attracting premium clients that you meant to work with. You might find yourself getting a little bit stuck in the day-to-day operations of your business and finding that there's actually not enough room for you to market to your prospective clients. I hear that all the time when the clients are there that you're working with, and it's sort of like waiting until, well, then these contracts are over and then I will go and market for more. And that is not a best strategy, because there's always a little bit of a desperation that goes with that, because suddenly you find yourself with like, oh, damn, I need to like really find clients right now. That's not a good idea, because energetically that means you're actually sending an incorrect message to the universe. It's desperation, it's scarcity instead of abundance. So we really want to make sure that whatever way we show up, there is a continuity to it, that it's not sort of show up and disappear, but that it's continuous, and that inside your business strategy, there actually is space for marketing. It's like that's a part of the business, not just working with clients directly. Or you might find yourself that you market all the time, but in sort of a chaotic way. That's another pattern that I see a lot, is like posting all the time and on all the networks and saying all the things to all the people and then wondering why it's not working. Well, that's because you are not actually showing up to the specific people. It's too much and the energy is very dispersed. Or you might be attracting clients that kind of don't really match what you're offering. They don't really get what you're offering. And then if you're in a desperation energy, you might almost like try to convince yourself that you should take that client on, especially if the client says, well, I want to work with you, instead of realizing that that's not quite a match. So when we're in desperation, we don't have the luxury of spaciousness in which we can decide if this person is actually appropriate for what we're offering or not. That's really being in integrity. When you're fully in integrity, you don't just take every single person that comes in. You take specific people that match specifically what you're offering. They have to be on a certain level, frequency-wise and development-wise, and where they are in their journey as to whatever it is that they're doing in their life and whatever your expertise is, right? So if you're attracting the clients that either don't quite understand what you're offering, or they kind of want to work with you, but they need to be convinced, or they don't have the money, that means also that the frequency is off. There's something that you are energy-wise putting out that's not quite matching what is it that you actually desire to pull in. And then you end up feeling stressed, frustrated, exhausted, and so on. We know how that goes. So I believe that you should not have to twist yourself into a pretzel in order to attract clients that you want to work with and in order to make your business work. It's just not okay that you don't have these amazing clients coming in when you are amazing at what you do, right? There has to be a match. So for the ones of you who don't know me, I'm Eugenia Oganova. I'm Wealth Energetics business and marketing coach for women entrepreneurs who desire to get grounded in their purpose and align their day-to-day business and marketing operations of, whatever they do in their business with their unique way, which is unique soul design. So that way they can elevate who they are to the next level of frequency, which then elevates their clients to the next level of frequency. So they attract these kinds of clients into their business and more money and more opportunities, and do all of that while having their own needs met and having space for self-care instead of just working, doing, and wondering why you're tired. So what I do is help you align with what you actually meant to do, and that way you have the space in your life for your spiritual needs to be met, for your business to work well, to serve your clients at the highest possible level. So we're talking today about attracting premium clients that you are meant to work with. And I totally understand that it can be very frustrating when it feels like you're missing something. It's one of the things I hear a lot from people that come to me at the beginning when we start working together is that they don't know what the problem is. They kind of know that it's off. Something is off. I'm doing all the right things. It's sort of working. I have clients. I'm definitely an expert. My business is making money. Like, I'm good, but I'm not, because I feel either at that edge of burnout, or I feel pressure, or I feel tension, or I feel stuck creatively. So that's the something's off. That usually means there is a misalignment that's actually keeping you from going to the next level of service. And we are here to serve. And yes, of course, to make money because it's a business, but money is a part of the energy exchange between you and your client. But the main, bigger sort of component of that is to serve. It's to raise consciousness on this planet through whatever this one thing that you do in your specific business. So I also get how exhausting it can be when you feel this pressure, this urgency to like, okay, I have to make this work. I have to figure it out. Figuring out is sort of a tricky thing because we're not actually meant to figure anything out. And when we try to figure out, we're using past referencing, as in whatever we already know, and then we're projecting that past into the future, thinking that this is how we're going to get to know the next step. And it doesn't actually work that way. What you really need in order to get to the next step is something completely different, which is a different strategy that I teach. But this specific sort of way of trying to figure it out and not quite creating the urgency. Like, oh, I should be ahead by now. Why am I not there yet? It's working. I'm an expert. I'm good at what I do. Why am I not, whatever it is that you think you should be? So that creates pressure. And under pressure, we can't really create. We're not free under pressure. So the type of change in consciousness in yourself and in your clients, and attracting these clients that you already made soul contracts with, that can only happen if you yourself have spaciousness. But if you're in pressure, no spaciousness. And without spaciousness, you're actually miscreating. Instead of creating the very thing you want, you're creating the opposite of it. As in, something is not working, somebody is not coming, or somebody's coming but it's not the right person, and meanwhile you're feeling kind of pressured, and underneath that is the urgency of I have to, what's wrong, why is it not? And all successful people have that to some extent, so I'm not saying that this is something that you're experiencing all the time, but this feeling of pressure when you're sort of here and there, and you're getting this like a squirrel moment, ooh, squirrel, oh, something else, like shiny objects. That's actually sort of a side effect a lot of times of not knowing what is your natural way and then trying to compensate for the feeling of urgency. So that's another thing to watch out, by the way. And I also know how confusing it can be when you see certain strategy work for someone else and then it doesn't work for you. And you wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not doing this correctly? What's wrong with me? That's another one. So taking it personally, now it becomes literally about you instead of whatever the strategy is. All those things, they also miss alignments, because chances are the reason that it works for someone else but not for you is because the strategy itself is probably good, right? All proven strategies are good strategies, they all work, but we are all designed differently. So a strategy that could be absolutely perfect for somebody over here might not be perfect at all for you, might be totally wrong for you. So that's also part of like what I do with people, is figuring out this, like, what's your way and what strategy is actually your strategy versus whatever somebody else is doing that you think you should be doing. And all that does, it's causing you to feel like somehow inadequate or insecure about whatever it is that's not working, when actually it's not working because it's not meant to be working, because it wasn't your strategy in the first place, right? So this is why I work with conscious women entrepreneurs to align their business to their unique soul design. Soul design is sort of like how you're made. So from the beginning of this incarnation, when your soul came into your body and you started living this lifetime, maybe you decided to be an entrepreneur later, maybe you decided from the very early age, but whatever that spirit in you that said, hey, I'm going to serve, I'm going to help people in that higher level, that component of you and how you're wired, essentially, how you're designed, that's your soul design. So people out there, some of them you made contracts with, some of them are meant to be your clients, some frequencies you meant to deliver that then change consciousness on this planet, even if your business is not necessarily spiritual. You know, you might be helping somebody with, let's say, web design or Facebook ads or something that, you know, it's not like transformational supposedly. But how you do it, and if you do it with integrity and with that alignment, it is actually a spiritual service without necessarily using spiritual words. So we are all here to serve. It's never just about like transaction. When it becomes transactional, it's actually the energy of scarcity. And we're outgrowing this as a society. We're going into the next level of consciousness. So that's part of why I work with conscious women entrepreneurs, because we are the pioneers of that. We're the innovators of how we do business, you know. So instead of business being this cold transactional kind of a mechanical thing, it actually becomes heart-centered and soul-centered and aligned experience of higher service. Even if you're teaching somebody how to, let's say, do Facebook ads, it doesn't matter what it is, it matters how you do it. And some businesses are more directly teaching spirituality, some are not at all. But the main point is, are you aligned and are you living according to the way that you're actually meant to, the way that you're designed? So I help women understand how their system works, essentially. Like, what is it in you, like how you're wired? What is it natural for you, what's not? And this is how we attract premium clients that we're meant to work with. Because if you're naturally in alignment, you are resonating the thing that you meant to resonate. Like whatever that note that you meant to put out into the universe, you do. And that is what then brings to you correct people. So then those people can respond to you and become your clients. This is how we energetically show up appropriately. And also that you know what your needs are. If you don't know what your needs are, you can't really meet your needs. And this is incredible how often people don't know what their needs are. They know what their client needs are, right? I bet that if you're good at what you do, you very much know every need your client has. You can imagine, you can anticipate their needs, but not always knowing what your own needs are. And a lot of times they're not what we think. Like we're conditioned to think that, oh, I need this. And most of the time that's not even true. But underneath it, there are true needs, something that your system actually requires. Maybe it's more space. Maybe it's a quiet time. Maybe it's a specific frequency. If you know what it is, you can then accommodate it. You can meet your own needs within your business, which is really important. So in the system that I work with, is called Conscious Future Method. So we build conscious future essentially for you. Within that, there are a few steps that are part of how I help you. And I'm going to tell you here a little bit about the steps so you can kind of understand what is involved in attracting these premium clients to work with you that are actually meant to work with you, right? So the very first step is clearing yourself, like free yourself from all the limitations. And I know it sounds kind of like, yeah, limitations, but all those limitations that we don't even think are limitations. That's one of the things I find so much, that when I start at that step with my clients, we uncover so much conditioning, so many layers of interpretations of reality that you took on as, well, this is just how it is, like a fact. But it's actually not. It's something you might have inherited from your family or generationally even. Many generations ago that's been in your family, so it's a karmic pattern, or it might have been something that you've been brought up in, like your culture, your religion, whatever. All those things, they are like layers that then block you from fully experiencing the quantum field. Everything is one, everything is consciousness, everything is quantum field. So when you are having all these layers in the way of interpretations of it, they, especially if they're limiting, if they don't work for you but work against you, they block you from attracting those amazing clients. So that's a step one. Step two is to unify your expertise with your values, so then you can put your unique message together. And that is that unique frequency note that then pulls to you ideal clients, so you can be yourself essentially. The third thing is, of course, the business strategy, to actually transform your business strategy into something that is smooth and simple and has space for you in it. The next step is to upgrade your entire marketing strategy, so that instead of just doing all the things, you're only doing one or two things, but the right things for you, things that resonate with your system and actually create whatever it is that you want in your life, right? And the next step is to realign your energetics. So I've been mentioning today a lot about energetics, as in different energy alignments, different frequencies. All of that is energetics. Like, think of it like how you feel, how you think, what your experience of your space is, how you maybe intuit something with your client. All of that is energetics. That's a simple way of describing it. But energy dynamics of interaction, that's also energetics, and that's the key part, because how we interact with reality. Like, here you are, out there is the entire quantum field. It's all one, it all exists. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to call in to yourself from the quantum field? It's actually up to us what we call in. And there is a way to do so if you consciously aware of your own system and what you're creating, what your message is, and how to bring that through and relating that to your business, so that you have your needs met in your business. You have space for yourself, for your spiritual pursuits, for meditation, for walks, for whatever it is that you need to make sure that you are replenished and fulfilled as you're going into whatever you're doing with your clients. And the last step of my Conscious Future method is how to put it all together by essentially elevating your frequency broadcast. So we all put out into the world different energies all the time. Even if you're not aware of it, you are broadcasting something kind of beep, 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 but all goes off from your field, even if you don't know about it. So the key is, what is being broadcasted? A lot of times it's actually the lack. Like, we focus on what we don't have. And then that's what we end up broadcasting, which is not a good idea, because then it does not attract to us the ideal clients that we're looking for. Instead, if we're actually broadcasting something that is of abundance energy, like gratitude and fulfillment and joy, and I know it's hard to do all the time, especially when you're frustrated or tired. So that's another thing why the previous step of aligning your energetics is so important, so that you actually can broadcast correctly. And when you do, then you step into the correct timeline. Like, think of it like a correct track for your energy to go on, which means that your future is then accommodating whatever it is that your initial desire is. So you're actually creating the pathway for what you want to create. You taking the future and you're pulling it to you. It's collapsing the timeline, so that instead of here, the now, here, the future, they become one. And then you are actually living that future moment in the now. So that, of course, brings to you the very much correct people that you originally wanted to work with. So for the ones of you who know that you're ready, like everything I said resonates and you get it, like, yeah, I want to go from all this exhausted, frustrated, whatever, into actually being aligned and feel like I'm enjoying my business and I can attract to me what I desire, so I can have space in my business and everything. I invite you to work with me. And to do so, we need to have a conversation. We need to see if we click in. I will not try to sell you anything like this. This is not how I work. The way that I work is essentially to see what your situation is. I will listen. I will show you what your blind spots are, like what the misalignments are. I can make suggestions, so you get lots of value anyway from just talking with me. And then if I see that we are a fit to work together, I will obviously show you what I can do for you further, but only if we are a fit. So if you know that this is something that you're ready for and you really want to align yourself to how you meant to live your life, I would love to help you. So either put the word simple in the comments so that I know you're interested and I can contact you, or message me directly, and then I will give you all the information how you can set up a conversation with me. It's a free conversation and we can just see where you are and what is off, so that I can show you like, oh, adjust this, this, and that, and this is how you can do this, or this is how we can work together. All right. So I'm so glad that I got to tell you all of this. I hope that this helped you understand where there are some misalignments and what you can change. So my love to you. Bye-bye.